UK government has withdrawn its staff from embassies in Iran and Israel due to the ongoing security situation in the Middle East. The US has also advised its embassy employees that non-essential personnel who wish to leave may do so. Michael Clark explains.
Over the last few hours, the drums of war have been beating all the louder across the Middle East. The United States has withdrawn non-essential staff from its embassy in Jerusalem. Britain has withdrawn all of its staff from its embassy in Tehran. The Israelis reportedly are moving vulnerable patients out of some of the hospitals into safer areas. And so as we look across the region, we can see that there is a sense that something warlike is about to happen fairly soon. It might all be a bluff. Of course it might. But if so, it's a fairly elaborate bluff, because the United States has got two carrier strike groups, one, the Abraham Lincoln, south of Iran. It's got the USS Ford, the carrier strike group in the eastern Mediterranean, and it's got bases all over the region. The thing is, it can't use most of those bases because the Middle East governments won't allow them to be used, so it would have to launch strikes from its carriers and from other bases further afield. It's even sent F-22s. This is the aircraft that they won't sell to anyone else in the world, and they've got F-22 sitting in Israel at the moment. So it looks as if something is going to happen. But although they're poised for what could be a very destructive and even a long attack, something lasting 2 or 3 weeks that would go after Iranian air defences and then Iranian infrastructure and then maybe go after all of the regime nodes themselves, the understanding is that the Americans would probably take some losses if they did that. There would be deaths, there would be damage, they might lose some aircraft, they might have damage to ships. So the Iranians are making it clear that they could do quite a lot to make this very expensive for President Trump. And the Iranians are also indicating, of course, that they might even block the Strait of Hormuz. They could actually bring the whole world economy into their retaliation, and they've threatened to do this before. Blocking the Strait of Hormuz, 20% of global energy, mainly oil, goes through the Strait of Hormuz, and that immediately will put a strain on the world economy. Not likely that they would do that immediately, but if the Americans had a longish attack on Iran, they may well decide to do it and retaliate in general across the region. And many other countries in the region are very nervous that this might set off a really unstable sort of domino effect. So ultimately, this comes down to a personal battle between Ayatollah Khamenei and Donald Trump. These are two naturally autocratic leaders who don't accept very much advice that they don't like. And it's possible that Trump has been bluffing all the time. It's possible that these drums of war are all to increase the pressure on Khamenei. But at the moment, Khamenei looks as if he's not going to rush to do a deal. He's going to hold off on that. It looks as if Khamenei is calling Donald Trump's bluff. And if he is, then Donald Trump has got to spend the weekend making some very careful decisions. If he is bluffing, he's got to find a way out. But just maybe it'll turn out he isn't bluffing after all.